In this video, I'm going to show you how to increase the profitability of your sports betting models without changing the stats or structure of your overall sports betting model. Super fascinating video if you want to improve in sports betting and improve how you model sports. Great video and something you definitely need to learn how to do. Greatly appreciate you tuning in. My name's MGCovers. Let's dive into it. The screen that I'm going to pull up now is a screenshot of something I call classes model. I'm going to explain it to you briefly. It came from horse racing / greyhound racing. When a horse wins a race, they move up into another class. Or if a horse is, say, a B class and they don't win for like maybe 5 consecutive races, not sure the exact number, they move down in class. So it's a very good way to and I basically adapted that and converted it into sports betting and have created several successful models using this. It's really good for college basketball, good for college football, could technically use it for all sports, but more relative and more applicable to those sports. And it's really good for, say, Champions, Europa League tournaments, or even World Cup. So basically what I do is I have what I call A class teams, B class, C class, and D class. I created both of these for Champions League as well as Europa. Now, let's slide over here and look at our tracker. So there's several ways to do this with classes model. The way that I originally had tested this, we're going to play 4 A teams and we will play against the B team. So when you go back and look at the overall power rankings, the reason we do that is you want to have a buzzword you hear in the community is positive EV. So how do you create that? Obviously, if you have a B team playing another B team, there's not enough margin between those teams. So in order to create a significant margin, so we have, quote, value, we would play for the A teams. And then down here, we would play against the D team. So if a C team is playing a D team, we would play against them. Or if an A team is playing a B, C, or D, we play for the A team. And obviously you can make alterations to that. We're going to talk about that a little bit later in the video, meaning you could play A teams only when they're playing a C and a D. Same with playing against the D team. You could play only when they're playing another B or A team. Okay. So if you go look at the tracker, the way I'd originally done it, playing for the A teams up to minus 400, and then, playing against the D teams for the last, I guess, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days that they played the tournament, it went 8-6, positive plus 1.04 units. So the good news is this is profitable. Granted, a very small sample size, went 2 and 3 yesterday. Now, here's what we're going to talk about, making some alterations. And so you have to be creative. You have to think creative in order to do this. And one simple technique, this is applicable to really any model. I showed you or talked about this on the podcast the other day. One simple technique you can do is eliminate favorites. Now, this will not work all the time, but it's a great way to eliminate a lot of the heavy juice. And by eliminating the favorites and only playing dogs via the model, this will lower your win percentage, meaning if you're only playing dogs, you only need to hit 50%, in some cases less, in order to turn a profit. So the same concept would apply. We're going to play A teams playing against the D teams and vice versa. So let's see what would happen if we just play dogs. We're able to, profit-wise, turn about the same 0.93 units, but our ROI is going to increase significantly. So you can see over here, we basically had 14 wagers, some juice in that. Should have calculated the ROI, but it would be extremely lower than what you see here, because with dogs only, we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we can play 6 plays, only risk basically 6 units and get close to the same amount of profit, 0.93 units, as opposed to risking 14 units plus juice for a yield of just 1.04 units. So again, and you can really, like I said before, you can test this with any model. We just did it with baseball, eliminate favorites, and just see if it would be profitable playing dogs only. Now, the last way I'm going to show you is a pretty creative concept. So what I did was here, and I want to talk about this. So we're going to eliminate the A teams. And the reason why this might be something to consider if you build a model this way, The A teams, the quote better teams, the general public will have a better idea of the quote better teams. So they're going to be overvalued via the sports books. Let me give you an example that you probably already know about. Not last year, but the year before, the average line for Kansas City Chiefs in football was it was over -7. So every week they were -8, -9. They struggled to cover. You could have faded Kansas City that year and probably been up 10 to 15 units. So they were, quote, overvalued in the marketplace. Why? Because they were a very good, quote, public team. Books shade the line in their favor, and it's the same here. So the A teams are, quote, overvalued. So where would be the value? The value would be playing against the D teams. And what's ironic about this, we only had 4 plays. It went 3-1. So the win percentage increased better than the 8-6 and better than the 3-3 with dogs. We actually went 3-1 playing against the D teams. The D teams have a very low percentage chance of winning, and we increased, I'm not sure of ROI, but I'm assuming the ROI would be higher because it's only 4 matches, 2.35 units. I think one of these in here was some heavy juice, maybe like -200. Could go back and check that later. But the point is just taking that concept of not playing the 18, playing against the D teams, we go 3-1, increase our profitability to plus 2.35 units. And again, going back to the premise of this video, I made no changes to the model. That's why when you're tracking something, whether you're wagering live or you're doing ghost wagers, which is basically what this is, we're wagering without real dollars to test the effectiveness of the model. And when you keep a tracker like this, you can obviously go back and make alterations to it, testing different concepts without actually changing the model itself. So I hope that helps. Quick reminder, if you're watching this video, if you want access to this model, I do a coaching video. It's a 3-part video. I show you actually how I built this specific model. You can get access $50 a month. You also get access to all of our coaching videos on the site as well. And if you want access to my plays, or if you want to join for a year, there's a link in the description that tells you how to do that. Greatly appreciate you guys tuning in this video. Talk to y'all soon. Peace.